Hello, Linda. This is Josiah Vincent doing Transformational Leadership Journal Entry number 4, and I'm going to talk about social entrepreneurship. So from what we've read and all the videos you gave us from the Twitter, I've kind of compiled my ideas around what the nonprofit industry is today, and using a bit of my experience, and then I'll talk about what it should be in the future. So when I lived back in Portland during the recession, during the GFC, I worked at a nonprofit called Court Appointed Special Advocates, CASA, and we helped abused and neglected children go through the court systems and find a good home. A lot of times they came from bad homes where the parents were either unable because of economic reasons or didn't have the desire to take care of the children. So we were always able to either help the children out for a short amount of time until the parents got on their feet in order for the child to go back, or when court actions were necessary, we would stand in the place between the lawyer and the child and make sure that the child got what he needed and not just what he wanted. Because it's the lawyer's legal obligation, and every child is given a lawyer, it's the lawyer's legal obligation to give the child what it wants, which is unfortunate. So when I was working there, we had 3 types of fundraising, and we had to do fundraising all year long. Super fun. We had our fundraising from our auction, which was great because you could meet all these great CEOs and board directors, and it was an open bar. And then we have our mailers. So we have the mail goes out and talk about what CASA's been up to and ask for a little bit of money, and that was a third of the budget. And then we also had our CASA cards, which is what I was doing there. I was working underneath them, and CASA cards was kind of like seasonal greeting cards and seasonal products, so that we could fundraise on a retail level. So there's a lot of nonprofits that do this in our region. So it's pretty competitive to sell the greeting cards and sell ornaments and notepads and just all kinds of things that have the CASA logo on it, and make a little bit of money. But during the GFC, people changed their way of thinking when it came to retail products. They were very against overspending just on the home budget, and people were insecure about what the country was going to do next and what they were going to do with just literally their daily dollars. So when it wasn't seasonal time, we ran red. We were unable to make budget, and it's very difficult for us to fight that off. It's very difficult for I think everyone in our country. I think it's very difficult now for all of the middle class or like middle income countries to be able to donate and give aid to countries like who really need it, African countries and some Indian locations where they really need aid and they really need help. And I think nonprofits feel that just as much. We're asking for money and everybody's hitting them up. All the countries are hitting up all the people who were donors before, and they're not going to be able to get the same responses. It's not going to work the same way. And it's no longer the system where, you can take and take and take, and then you can eventually give a little bit back. That's not the system anymore. I love Keller when she talks about how you can take and take, but you probably shouldn't have taken any in the first place. And that's what her dad said, and that's pretty good. That's a pretty good way of thinking, and that's really social entrepreneurship, their way of thinking versus the way of thinking that has always been nonprofits. And when I was working at CASA, right before I left CASA, they hired on a new manager, and the manager that we had moved up and she's now a chairman. And the new manager who came in was from Chicago and was very different than people on the West Coast in the U.S. And she had a very hard-nosed attitude, and she was not the most friendly manager and was not part of the culture that was there. And she didn't. After I left, I can only remember the stories that my friends have told me that they're looking for new jobs. They're looking day and night to find a different place to work because they couldn't work underneath what she had, and they were not able to get the benefits that other companies would have: health benefits, pay benefits. Her reward structure, because all she had was coercion and reward. She didn't have the ability to get people on her side. They weren't strong enough at a nonprofit. And people were leaving. People were dropping like flies from the organization. It's really sad because people have been working for 10, 11 years, and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't deal with what she had in store. And I feel like a lot of nonprofits are also doing that. There's another article we read. A lot of nonprofits are dealing with that problem where they can't they can't keep the benefits strong enough to let the workers be satisfied. And even the satisfied workers, it's a two-sided blade for nonprofit organizations. You can tell people you work for a nonprofit, so they should, they feel respect for you and they're able to treat you well. But at the same time, they kind of say, yeah, like Keller says, yeah, that's nice that you guys do that. That's nice, but you're not really useful. But that's nice, and that's kind of the attitude. So I'm glad that Keller had her article and kind of coined my favorite phrase now after you said it and after hearing her say it. It's it's a pretty funny one about if you take a take, you probably should have taken any in the first place. Giving back's not, it's a little late for that. So it's a pretty funny one, and I really like how she takes the ideas of making money and doing a good thing and putting those together, making a sustainable organization that's more than just sustainable in terms of environmental or social, but sustainable in terms of long-term and their third bottom line. All three of those really make a sustainable organization. It's funny, she's from Western Michigan, where I came from, and there's a few people out there I know who could use a little bit of help with their clean water. They're having a lot of fracking problems in the swamplands with the natural gas fracking, and it's getting into the water system. So she might be able to do some help in her own neck of the woods. But really, the organization she's doing with the water filtration that's awesome. It's excellent, and I think that's the way that we're moving away from nonprofits and into these social entrepreneurial. The idea behind this sustainable organizations. So I'm going to take that, and I will catch up with the class on Monday. Thank you, Linda.